How do you feel? Are you disappointed? Are you frustrated? Are you worried ahead of the final game? Thank you. Good
Ninguna de esas
evening.
sensaciones que
None of
apuntas.
those.
Bueno, una sensación de esperanza en cuanto a que pensaba
I feel
o
hope.
esperaba que pudiéramos haber hecho un partido mejor y poder dar una alegría a la afición y una alegría a la
We
propia
obviously
selección.
wanted to play better and give the fans something to shout about, but you have to recognise how good Poland were and the great defensive work that they did this evening. They closed down a lot of the avenues we would usually use to try and get forward, and they stopped our transitions and they pressed us high, so it was a tough game tonight.
¿Qué tal, seleccionador? Yo te quería preguntar si cuando una selección se cierra atrás, como pasó otro día con Suecia, como ha pasado hoy con Polonia,
when teams hang back, like Sweden did and like Poland did tonight,
es muy fácil neutralizarla y si falta un plan B.
Do you think it's too easy to neutralise your team using those strategies? I think anyone who watches football could see that attacking against a team that is camped out in their penalty box is the hardest thing in football. I don't think it was that kind of game tonight. Of course, there were moments when Poland hung back, but they pressed the person with the ball. So it was a different game in my eyes to the Sweden game, but of course, it's something that we struggle with, it's something that France struggle with, Barca, Brazil, Man City, Real Madrid. Any team that hangs back in numbers is going to cause problems to any other team.
Adrià Albets, buenas noches, en directo en Carrusel Deportivo. Polonia le ha ganado la mayoría de los duelos directos a las.
Poland won the majority of the duels tonight. Do you think your team was lacking a bit of character, a bit of aggression in order to win those duels? What do you mean by direct duels? One-on-ones, aerial play? Yes, 50-50s, one-on-ones. Well, I don't think we were lacking in aggression. The type of players we have in this team are players that are able to play good attacking football, press well, but I think the duels were pretty even. Of course, some of the smaller players are going to suffer more in the air, but I don't think we lacked attitude or character. On the contrary, I think all the intention was there.
Agencia Reuters.
Hola, Luis Enrique. ¿Tu equipo jugó mejor hoy o contra Suecia?
Do you think you played better today or against Sweden? Do you think Poland's strategy made it easier for you, or do you think the Sweden strategy was easier? I think we found it a lot harder today than we did against Sweden. We were continually on the attack against Sweden, just simply waiting to have that opportunity to win the game, whereas today, throughout the game, Poland tried to get out of their area and counter, and there were times when they pressed us high up the field, so I think it was a better game in that respect. Looking on from the outside, it felt that the team struggled to get over missing that penalty. Do you think the young age of your squad is a factor in terms of getting over those big games, and where does that leave you ahead of the Slovakia game? Well, I think of course, the key moment came right after they scored that very good goal with Lewandowski. It was pretty much their next move, and that led to the penalty. Of course, if we'd gone ahead at that point, it would have changed the game. So they would have had to try and press us up the field, and that would have led to more dangerous situations. But I think obviously missing the penalty increased the tension a little bit. But even though we did create some chances, we weren't able to create really clear-cut opportunities. There was one for Gerard Moreno at the end of the first half, and I think that could have been decisive. But I'm going to stick with the positives, which is the attitude of my players, the motivation. And now the third game will be a decisive one, a crunch game. And we need to win it if we want to get through to the next round. Furthermore, all four of the teams in the group have their future in their own hands. Ahead of the game, you said that you'd analysed the previous 6 games of Poland under Paulo Sousa. Were you surprised? We were a little surprised with the performance, but were you surprised?
A mí me ha gustado Polonia. Me ha parecido
muchísimo más
complicado de ganarle a Polonia que a Suecia.
It was a lot harder to try and beat them than it was Sweden. I think if it was a boxing match, we would have won on points, but Poland could have got the win too. I think they worked very well in defence, but they didn't give up on attacking as well, and I think that was a really smart move, so it was a complete game from them. They were in the game throughout, and they really caused us some problems.
Última pregunta, las cuestión Dominic, New Ones, Doc Sport, go on.
Hacer un cambio de mentalidad y de cultura de juego para mucho más ofensiva en nuestro país. Así que te quería preguntar si para ti Polonia quería jugar.
Do you think that Poland were looking to play with the ball and play offensively tonight, or were they trying to shut up shop? Would you be able to repeat, because the start was cut off? Paulo Sousa has said that he wants to change the mentality of the Polish national football team to be a more dominant, possession-based team. Do you think that you saw a Poland team tonight that were looking to dominate the ball, or do you think they were more focused on hanging back and camping out in defence? No, I think right from the start they were clearly orientated towards offence. They were happy to press us high up the field. In the first 5 minutes we struggled to get out of our half. I'm an admirer of what Paulo Sousa is doing. I like attacking coaches. I like coaches that try to do things in attack. And we had to press them very well to win the ball off them tonight. I think if they play like that, they can beat anyone, Sweden included, but we'll see which teams deserve to go through. Were you expecting it to be so difficult tonight, and are you considering not getting through as a real possibility? Of course I was expecting more. I was expecting to have 6 points and 0 goals against. That's what I was expecting. I'm sure that's the same for the Sweden coach, for Poland's coach. But this is the situation where I think we were much more deserving in the first game. I wouldn't say it's a fair result tonight, but it doesn't suggest anything unfair about the game. But that's football. There are going to be difficulties in any game.
tuvimos problemas para solventar esos partidos. Y ahora llega el momento
We've struggled in games before, and now we are coming into the crunch match. If we want to progress, we need to win the third game. But it's the same for all teams in all groups. If we deserve the game, and if we win the game, we'll go through. If not, we'll be knocked out. That's the reality of football.